I'm Amanda Master. My daughter is Willow. She's 15. And we discovered Reading Success Plus when she did an evaluation through the St. Joseph County ISD here around the Sturgis, Michigan area. And he at that time told me that he believed my daughter to be severely dyslexic and highly recommended Reading Success Plus because they do the Orton Gillingham program for dyslexic students. And so from there, I made contact and set up their own little meeting with Willow and myself and tested her into the program. And it's probably been about 5 years now we've been doing this. We noticed something was different about her when she was in preschool. She couldn't remember her colors like a normal child, her shapes. Some colors were other colors, some shapes were other shapes. One day she'd get a shape right, the next day it would be incorrect. Um, and we just kind of pushed her along into kindergarten, hoping things would even out. They didn't. In fact, she, uh, by the end of kindergarten, didn't have her basic like shoe tying, phone number memorized, address, things that they expect you to know moving into first grade. So we decided to repeat a year, and then she went into first grade. At that point, when she was struggling with sight words, spelling words, we decided to have her psychologically evaluated by Dr. Susan Carter in Portage, Michigan. And at that time, she says she believed Willow to have central auditory processing deficit, which is shortened for CAPD, which basically means the things that she hears, she doesn't process correctly like our brains do. Like the best way it was described to me is, the normal person has a filing cabinet for a memory. You need the information, you just go and grab it from where it belongs, right? Well, for Willow, she's got like a junk drawer. So the knowledge is in there. It's a matter of finding it. She went into second grade and then to third grade, and her third grade teacher, she had recommended that I start some type of testing through the ISD because this was a private school, and she wanted to make sure that whenever it was my daughter transitioned from private to public, whether if it was in a year or at the end of 8th grade when they cut off school, that she would have something that was going to go with her. So we started that, went into 4th grade, got the evaluation done with the ISD, and that's when I was told that he believed her to be severely dyslexic. She was phonemically deaf, which she still has problems with phonemic coding, and recommended Reading Success Plus. This happened to be right before the COVID shutdown within like a couple months. So once we got that non-public service agreement kind of in place, then the COVID shutdown happened. And then from there, obviously life was kind of hard to pick up when everyone went back to school. And she really fell between the cracks in 5th grade and then more severely in 6th grade. But by this time, she was already in the Orton Gillingham program. And across the board, everyone was saying, we're seeing improvement. Even if it's slow improvement, it's improvement. And that's fantastic. So 7th grade, she decided she wanted to go to public school. And we had to do another evaluation through the ISD, where Bob Brooks, who's a real fancy pants man over there, he's very, very smart. He does his job well, tested her. And he had said, what was kind of interesting, because when I went into that meeting, that was my first public school one, and he had asked me what my takeaway was. What did I feel the problems were? And by the end of that meeting, he had told me, I don't think I've ever seen a parent as not only involved, but as knowledgeable about what's going on with your child. Because it's a lot. It's a lot to take on. Trying to be on top of everything, trying to make sure your child's being taken care of in that setting. 7th grade, we really got used to being in public school, getting that IEP really incorporated. By the end of 8th grade, she's in 9th grade now, she had passed all of her classes and doubled her GPA. So she went from like a 1.5 to a 3, right around there. And so now she's in the high school, and she's she's having a lot of trouble in high school, but it's because of the administration there. They really have been messing with her, especially with her IEP and trying to tell me that they didn't think that she needed one, that they felt that there was nothing wrong with her and she was just lazy. So last week, we actually just got done with her newest evaluation. She had a academic evaluation and she did a social emotional evaluation where she got a dual diagnosis for her IEP. And she is only the second child in the entire county to have that dual diagnosis, because her academics are so low and her social emotional are so high, like that anxiety, depression, that stuff that comes along with the trauma she's been enduring in this building this year. So that was a big win for us that we really had something to present the high school with. So now we're really hoping that moving forward, she really gets the help she needs and she's not just brushed off as some slacky kid. But I really have to give LG big props for that because, I mean, he drove that 1.5 hours twice now to be present to advocate for her. And I am 100% positive that if he hadn't been in those meetings, we would not have been taken seriously. Because not only, does LG run this company and is a tutor, he lives with dyslexia. So he was really able to not only give his personal opinion, he was also able to give his professional opinion. And the fact that he's worked with Willow so long, he was really able to tell them, like, hey, I know that when she starts to feel like this, that if I just, give her a moment, that I can get her back to where she needs to be. So I really appreciate him for that because I heard a lot of the administration and teachers saying that they were very impressed. Will having tutoring twice a week, she was really able to boost those decoding facts and the reading comprehension and the things like that to help her. She went from I think it was a fourth grade reading level to a seventh grade reading level by the time she graduated eighth grade. So that's quite an improvement. I would say her confidence got boosted a lot. The more she could do her classes and get her work done, the more her tests were showing improvements, not having to retake classes for failures or anything like that. That really made her feel like, wow, I am smart. I can do this. She even got a couple of academic honors at the end of eighth grade for some of her classes, which was huge. It really boosted her confidence in herself, which I think is the most important part. When I met Anne, um, and her willingness to make sure that Willow was gonna make it, she was gonna succeed. She was very much excited to have Willow join. She was very knowledgeable. She really gave me a sense of peace in making the decision to do the tutoring because, I mean, it is quite extensive. Um, I mean, yes, it's only 2 days a week, and thankfully it's on the computer. But taking that commitment for a child who's already sat in school for 7 hours, who's already drained, that wasn't just a commitment for me, that was a commitment for Willow. And so Anne made us feel really comfortable. And she even sat in on a couple of meetings with the private school she was in to try to help give them an idea of exactly how Willow's brain works and how our info is absolutely just for Willow. LG is always so understanding and so forgiving. If she needs to skip a class, reschedule a class, he's completely understanding, which I think is wonderful because he understands, like, if she's not mentally where she needs to be, then she's not going to perform at her best. She's not going to take in the knowledge that, we're trying to give to her. So I think that's been really helpful. It really, I know it sounds kind of corny, but it really feels like family. It really feels like they care. They'll go that extra mile, you know, for their kids. And that's incredible. I mean, he drives, 2 hours to go to an 8 a.m. meeting. you know, that's dedication. And they did it from their heart. We worked with, I believe her name was Patty, Rhonda. LG, we've had many interactions with Anne. And across the board, it's always been help. Even from their billings department, they're always so kind. They're always so understanding. If I need something, they have that answer for me, or they're able to give me that information. I've not met an employee there that I didn't feel put the children first. I feel like across the board, their main focus is my daughter. Every time they're with her, their focus is her. And that's huge because you don't get that kind of thing in a school setting. You only get your teacher for a couple of minutes because there's 30 other kids. But their focus, no matter who it is, every time is making sure my daughter's good, making sure her session's good. I have gained so much knowledge uh, from Anne and from LG because walking into this, I mean, that diagnosis for us was new. And then we went right into this program. So they've been wonderful in teaching me what an accommodation on an IEP should look like, um, what kind of knowledge I should have to advocate for my daughter. Because I never expected my daughter's education to have to be a fight. Unfortunately, that's exactly where we have found ourselves. So I feel like they prepared me with the knowledge that I needed to be able to go up against the school and let them know that I'm here for my child. I have this village behind me for my child, and we are going to do everything it takes to make sure that she makes it, that she graduates and she gets that education that she deserves. I feel like if they didn't go that extra mile, to really help explain to me um, some necessities for her or some just accommodations or things like that that benefit her in the classroom, I don't think that we would be where we are in this IEP process. I don't think I would have had the knowledge to be able to go up against a school and really kind of, I'm not going to say win because this is still a big hill that I'm sure I'm going to have to climb, but they're there every step of the process. And right now, uh, they've really helped us get ahead with that.